What's up, fight fans? Welcome to Mr. Mustache MMA News. Today, I want to be discussing the future of Cody Garbrandt and how I think he still has plenty of gas in the tank. But before we get to it, hit that like and subscribe button. My goal is to be bringing more eyes to the sport of mixed martial arts. I want to give my insight, my breakdowns, my predictions. I'm a fan first and a journalist second. So if that's something that you're interested in watching, listening to, feel free to like and subscribe and enjoy. So Cody Garbrandt is a very interesting case. Former bantamweight champion, former undefeated bantamweight champion, is now 1-5 since losing the belt. But a lot of people are writing him off, and this is where I think they're wrong. I think, yes, he did lose himself and he put himself in a really bad position, but he still has the name, has the pedigree, has the ability to get back. He's still only 30 years old. And I think if he goes about it the right way, I think he'll be just fine. And he still has another 6-7 years left in the tank if he really wants to compete that long. Just going forward, I want to kind of break down the two sides of what Cody Garbrandt is. There was the up-and-coming Cody Garbrandt who became the UFC champion, very young age, still almost a prospect status. And then we're going to talk about post-UFC champion Cody Garbrandt. The lost years is what I like to refer to those years. Cody Garbrandt is a big proponent in getting me into being a super fan, as I was a casual before that. Like I was young and getting into trouble at those days, but around the time when Cody became champion and when he had his first title defense against TJ was around the time where I just fucking dove right in, and I literally haven't missed an event since the Gaethje debut. Actually, I haven't missed an event since then. But about Cody, the two sides of him, he started 6-0. I think it was 4 knockouts, 6-0. He took out Marcus Brimage, Henry Briones, Augusto Mendez, Thomas Almeida, Mizugaki, Dominic Cruz. The names went on as a prospect in that time, and it was shocking on the way he was doing it. He was putting guys out in the first minute and a half, first round, and he was putting them out cold. He took out Mizugaki in like a minute and a half. He took out Marcus Brimage in his debut in like a minute and 11 seconds. And Marcus Brimage, to his credit, he seemed to be the guy for every superstar's debut. He was Conor McGregor's debut, I think, also, and he dusted him in like a minute as well. But for Cody, he came out guns blazing, gave the UFC no choice but to give him a title shot at 25, 26 years old. Very young, a lot of hype, a lot of push behind him. So he put himself in this position very early on that go big or go home, basically. And once he got the belt and he made Dominic Cruz look silly, and at that time, and even still, Dominic Cruz is considered probably the best UFC bantamweight or bantamweight period in the history of mixed martial arts. And what he did to Dominic Cruz in that time, the confidence that Cody had, the swagger, the boxing skills, the footwork, the head movement, he had it all at that time. And what fucking TJ Dillashaw did took his fucking damn soul is what he did. Unfortunately, TJ was cheating probably both times that they fought, and he took Cody's soul and a lot of brain damage and took maybe part of his chin. I wouldn't really say that though, because all the fights where Cody did get KO'd, he got KO'd hard. It's not like he got clipped like Chad Mendes was getting clipped and he was getting just KO'd. He was just falling over. It wasn't like that. When he got KO'd by TJ the first time, he got fucking dropped and then he got finished. The second fight, he got dropped, and then he got finished. His fight against Pedro Munoz, he went reckless, did the exact same fucking thing, and got dropped and got finished. Again, the Rob Font loss, it showed that he could take a punch. Yeah, he got pieced up that entire fight. He was dominated that entire fight, but it doesn't change the fact that he was able to take those punches, and Font looked like a lot bigger. Cody did look like a flyweight in that fight. I was even thinking about it for the past year and a half that Cody should go down to flyweight. I thought it was crazy. He looked way undersized as it is as a bantamweight. Moving forward, his win against the Sun Tzu, with what he was as a former bantamweight champion, he had no choice to take these big fights. And now I think he's in that position to start fresh. New Cody Garbrandt, 30-year-old Cody Garbrandt. This is a time for him to start new, almost in the sense of what Charles Oliveira, Charlie Olives, was able to do. It was devastating what has happened to Cody. And I feel like those two losses to TJ should almost be overturned and put into no contest. But whatever, that's a whole different story. It's a whole nother bag of worms I don't even want to get into. But what really grinds my gears about this whole fucking thing is fans are just writing him off. But all he has to do is get the right fights to get himself back in the right track. Cody Garbrandt, in 2-3 years, could be right there in the title picture again if he does it the right way. I think him fighting Kai Kara-France, on paper, yeah, it was a great, phenomenal matchup for him. But the second I heard that, I'm like, that's the one fucking guy you don't want him to fight in flyweight. That's the one guy who's got the hands that could put him out. And everybody said that the weight cut was a big issue, and they think that he wasn't able to get the brain fluid back after the weight cut, and that's why he keeps getting knocked out, and that's why he got knocked out the way he did against Kai. But I highly disagree. Kai hit him with a perfect shot and then finished it. I don't think anybody else would have got up from those fucking shots. Cody tried his best. He couldn't recover. It is what it is. And I just watched this podcast that he has with Chris Holdsworth, Rolling with the Homies. I just got done listening to that. And seeing Cody, seeing how he was just a couple days after the fight, he's in good spirits. I think he's really positive. I think he's handling the loss really well. And I feel like his mindset is exactly where it should be and to succeed in the future as a fighter. I feel like if he were to retire, you know, it is what it is. But I think the dude's got plenty left in the tank. I think that there's plenty of matchups. If he stays in flyweight, though, I don't think he should go back up to bantamweight. I think he's too small. I think those guys basically already have him figured out. If Rob Font did what he did to him, what's Jose Aldo going to do to him? I think TJ's going to do the same thing. I think Corey Sandhagen's going to do the same thing. I think Cody's just too small for those guys. I just think that's the honest truth. I think he rose up in a time where bantamweight wasn't as ripe, it wasn't as flushed out. Like, there was way less talent at the time and slim pickings, I suppose. And he rose up quick, the right matchups with the right knockouts and the right time to get him the right matchup against Dominic Cruz. And then after that, it's out of the races. And then that division became, I mean, bantamweight is now one of the, if not the top division in all of mixed martial arts right now in the UFC. So it's very exciting what's going on in bantamweight, but with Cody sticking at flyweight, I think there's a lot of other interesting matchups as well for him. And moving forward with that, I mean, if you look at the top 15 right now in flyweight, you got Brandon Moreno, Figueiredo, Askarov, all those dudes. He can be fighting those guys in a year and a half down the road. If he takes the time off, he can come back, fight guys like Manel Cape or Rogerio Bontorin. I think those are better matchups for him, safer matchups, that he can go work himself a little bit slowly, fight those guys, get his confidence, get his swagger, get his groove back, and then finally start working his way back up to career fights, money fights, if that's what he really wants to do. That I think that's the right recipe. I think he needs to go stay at flyweight and just start from the bottom, man. And if you can't work your way up from there, then, you know, I think it's time to call it quits. And there's no shame in that. All the respect in the world to Cody Garbrandt. He's a phenomenal fighter, phenomenal competitor. He's a great role model with everything that he did. I forgot the kid's name, but, you know, everything that he had when he brought him out in the octagon when he won the belt, that was a really cool moment. Cody Garbrandt, he's going to be just fine moving forward if he decides to fight or not. And I have no problem with what that guy does. I'm a fan of Cody Garbrandt till the end, regardless if he retires, commentates, becomes a coach, whatever the fuck he decides to do, I'm a fan. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you guys, Mr. Mustache MMA News. I'm out. Let's fucking go.